Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and it is Friday, so it's time for another Fatal Friday video. Fatal Friday is a series where I casually went into the Kombat League for Mortal Kombat 1, and I tried getting the unique finishers like Fatalities and Brutalities for the various characters. And after having done all that, I take the time to go back and look at the footage and edit these videos to show them off a little bit. This week I am going to be using Tanya and the kameo Sonya blade. And the finisher I am going for is going to be Tanya's Watch This Brutality.
You're as evil as the despots of antiquity.
How dare you compare me to those dark gods? Take one. Action!
The opponent that was randomly selected for me in the Kombat League was somebody using General Shao and the kameo Frost. And I am pretty happy about that considering back then I did not get to fight against too many people using General Shao. Then again, I was just pretty happy in general anytime I was not fighting against somebody using Johnny Cage, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Raiden, Liu Kang. Like, I don't necessarily have anything against those characters, but those were by far the most commonly used characters in the Kombat League, at least whenever I was playing this game. So any variety at all that did not lead to me just fighting those same characters over and over again, well, that was pretty nice. General Shao is actually a character I never got around to using myself, and that's kind of a shame too because he was on my list to play for a pretty long time, and I just never really got around to it. I remember really wanting to pair him up with Movado whenever that cameo first came out. I mean, it looked like a really cool combination that could pull off some pretty crazy combos, especially immediately after Movado was released. But around that time, I decided to go with Havoc instead, and I just never really revisited the idea of using General Shao. And I just realized I should probably actually talk about what's actually happening in the fight right here, because I have not really narrated that at all so far, so let me go ahead and fix that. The first round ended very comfortably in my favor as General Shao did not manage to get me below 50% health. Despite him getting the very first hit, he really never got anything going after that, although the second round starts off the complete opposite way. Instead, it was me who could not really get anything meaningful going, and General Shao got off to a pretty early life lead against me. So I found myself in a situation where I needed to claw my way back into the fight before it got out of hand. And despite not landing any significant combos in the second round, I did manage to chip away at General Shao until he was below 30% health. And yet again that left me with a tricky task of wanting to beat my opponent but defeat them and still get the brutality. So I had to slow down and not do too much damage, that way nothing accidentally defeats him before I have the opportunity to do the combo that would result in the brutality. Around that time, he decided to go ahead and throw out his fatal blow. I blocked that, and then I punished it. And the punish does just enough damage to take the round and take the very first match. So I went up by a score of 1-0 in the set, and I only needed to win one more match to win it all. So once I had General Shao in the life range that I really wanted him to be in, I went for the brutality combo, and that was even how I ended up winning the very first match. But General Shao had just a little bit too much health for the brutality to activate. Like, the combo did just enough damage to deplete the very last of his life bar, but it took the very last hit of the combo to actually finish him off. The brutality version of that combo seems to require that you deplete his health before the final hit, so I need to make sure he's a little bit weaker this time. Not to worry though, we still have one more match to try and pull off the brutality. And I need to give some credit to the General Shao user for the first round of the second match. I got off to an early life lead, but he does manage to claw his way back into the fight. And even when General Shao was nearly defeated, he managed to land a desperation fatal blow against me. And that nearly won him the fight. I barely survived that. I had to button mash for damage reduction like crazy to keep that fatal blow from fully depleting my health. But after living with just a little bit of my health left, I just ran away and I started firing non-stop projectiles with Sonya and Tanya, until I eventually salvaged the round and won. The second round resulted in General Shao getting cornered. Starting off the second round, it did not really look like it was going to be one-sided initially, because General Shao does get a few good hits against me at the very beginning, and once he was finally forced into that corner, things never really turned around for him again. I would eventually end up landing a 300 plus damage combo against him and chipping away at him a little bit more and more after that. Towards the end, I just kept armoring through his attacks to weaken him as much as I possibly could without killing him. Like I mentioned earlier, I wanted his health to be severely low. And once he was weak enough to where I was pretty sure that combo would deplete his health before reaching the final hit, I went for the brutality combo again, and now it is brutality time.
Tanya wins.
And that was the Watch This Brutality for Tanya. Thank you to the random General Shao opponent. I did end up winning the entire set without losing a single round, but I have a suspicion that my opponent may have been new to using General Shao. Their card had Scorpion on it, so I'm guessing that is their primary character, and that maybe they only recently picked up General Shao. I definitely know the pain of getting comfortable with a character and then having to start over and not being so good with the new character you picked up, at least not yet. So I am kind of curious how good they eventually got with General Shao, but that is something I will probably never know. Anyway, I got the Watch This Brutality, and I will be sure to show it one more time at the very end of this outro. That way we can all enjoy it one final time before we part ways on this Fatal Friday. And overall, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, feel free to check out the other things I have on the Thor's Entertainment channel. I do have other Mortal Kombat 1 finisher videos just like this. You can find those under the Fatal Friday playlists. Besides that, I have playthroughs of various games like the story modes for Mortal Kombat 9, 10, 11, and 1. I also have playthroughs of the remakes of Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2. And soon I'll be doing a playthrough of Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, feel free to check any of that out. Regardless of what you decide to do though, I hope you enjoyed the video, take care, and hopefully I will see you next time.
Brutality. Tanya wins.